San Francisco, a city renowned for its breathtaking beauty, vibrant innovation, and rich cultural diversity, is often celebrated as a beacon of progress and hope, a place of progression and change, brimming with the possibilities for its future and its people. However, beneath the surface of this picturesque skyline lies a troubling reality: the persistent and systematic racism that profoundly impacts its communities of color. From the historic neighborhoods that once thrived with immigrant families, filled with dreams and aspirations, to now the modern streets that continue to echo with stories of exclusion and inequality, the narrative of San Francisco is one of struggle and resilience. For the things such as community organizations, local residents, and policymakers, understanding this is crucial. Organizations like the San Francisco Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs, or otherwise known as the OCEIA, and La Raza Central Legal are at the forefront of this battle, advocating for the rights of marginalized communities and addressing systematic barriers. The OCEIA focuses on empowering immigrants to navigate the complexities of the systematic racism embedded in local policies, while La Raza Central Legal plays a vital role in supporting Mexican immigrants and other Latinx communities. Founded in 1973, La Raza Central Legal is dedicated to providing legal services, advocacy, and community education to empower its immigrants and ensure their rights are protected. As Ibram X. Kendi states, the only way to undo racism is to identify and describe it consistently and then dismantle it. This assertion underscores the importance of recognizing that racism is not merely a personal issue. It is intricately woven into our institutions and policies, shaping the lives of countless individuals and perpetrating cycles of disadvantage. To truly understand this essence of the city, we must confront and dismantle the systematic barriers that have long overshadowed its progress. By amplifying the voices of the stakeholders and acknowledging their perspectives, we can work together towards a more equitable future for all San Francisco residences. This digital short will argue that La Central Legal and the San Francisco Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs are crucial in the fight against systematic racism, working to create a more equitable future filled with opportunity for all. Additionally, it will also feature insights from Kendi, Merrill, and Busis discussing their efforts to raise awareness about systematic racism and the deeply embedded policies affecting the San Francisco community. Together, these organizations and voices are striving to foster a safe and inclusive environment, pushing back against the historical and ongoing injustices faced by marginalized communities in this vibrant city. The San Francisco Office of Engagement and Immigrant Affairs plays a crucial role in empowering immigrant communities by providing targeted legal assistance and advocacy, which are essential for addressing systematic racism and its impacts on these populations. In this context, the San Francisco Office of Civic Engagement and Affairs offers a range of services to its assistant immigrants, including legal help and advocacy. They operate various programs aimed at supporting immigrants in navigating legal challenges and accessing community resources. As Kendi emphasizes, recognizing and describing racism is the first step towards dismantling it. It highlights the importance of addressing both systematic issues and the immediate need of immigrant communities in San Francisco. To effectively combat the systematic racism that permeates San Francisco's institutions and policies, it is crucial to support organizations like La Raza Central Legal and the San Francisco Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs. These organizations play a pivotal role in advocating for the rights of marginalized communities and fostering a more equitable society. The OCEIA is partially dedicated to promoting the rights of the well-being of immigrant communities in the city. Their efforts address systematic issues affecting immigrants, such as the access to services, legal protections, and community support. Recently, the office has organized several key events and initiatives partnering with various departments to enhance their impact. Among these initiatives is the DREAM SS Fellowship, a leadership and civil engagement program designed for immigrant youth, which fosters their department of encourages active involvement in community initiatives. Candy's insights further illuminate the challenges faced by these communities, illustrating how systematic racism is intricately woven into the fabric of San Francisco's policies. By examining Kendi's arguments, we can better understand how policies relating to housing, healthcare, and education create barriers for communities of color. The cycles of disadvantage. Historical practices such as redlining have denied access to mortgages for Black and Latino residences, effectively segregating neighborhoods and limiting their economic mobility. These systematic issues are not merely abstract concepts. They manifest in tangible ways that impact the daily lives of residents, underscoring the urgent need for collective action to dismantle these barriers. In response to these challenges, street murals, protests, and community gatherings serve as powerful reminders on the ongoing struggle against systematic inequalities. These expressions of resistance emphasize the necessity for residents and policymakers to recognize and address these disparities, working together towards structural reform that promote equity and justice. By supporting organizations that advocate for marginalized communities and confronting the root causes of systematic racism, we can collectively foster a more inclusive and equitable San Francisco for all its residents, paving the way for a brighter future. Now, another stakeholder that is very important to mention is Merrill. Merrill's research reveals that the lighter-skinned immigrants in San Francisco experiences the disadvantage in employment and social acceptance, which is not only reinforces colorism but also complicates the advocacy efforts of organizations aiming to address systematic racism, as they must navigate the nuanced dynamics of skin tone within immigrant communities. In this context, Merrill sheds light on the intricate realities of racial identity and discrimination in San Francisco, particularly focusing on the impact of skin tone. His research reveals that the pervasive nature of colorism, where lighter-skinned individuals often receive preferential treatment in social interactions, employment opportunities, and community acceptance. This disparity underscores a critical intersection between colorism and broader issues of immigration and belonging. Lighter-skinned immigrants frequently find it easier to assimilate and gain positive recognition for the dominant culture compared to their darker-skinned peers. The visual evidence, pungent videos, and images that capture lived experience of those affected highlights the urgent need to address discrimination based on skin tone. This complexity complicates the fight against systematic racism and calls on advocates to consider the full spectrum of identity in their efforts. In a complementary narrative, La Raza Centro Legal showcases numerous success stories that illustrate the positive impact of their services on individuals and families grappling with these challenges. Take, for instance, Sandra, a Venezuelan immigrant who served with her experience of how the legal assistance she received empowered her to navigate complex immigration progress, secured housing, and protect her workers' rights. Sandra enrolled in business training programs at El Centro de la Raza and praised her instructors for their commitment and expertise, stating their guidance inspired her to continue learning and sharing opportunities with her. These stories highlight the empowerment that comes from community education programs, which provide essential information about rights and available resources. Together, they reinforce the necessity for comprehensive support in tackling the multi-faced issues of racial identity, discrimination, and immigration. Now, another perspective that I would say is rather important to highlight is Busis. Busis illustrates the local racial dynamic in San Francisco are profoundly shaped by global policies and historical context, suggesting that stakeholders in the community must recognize the interconnected influences to effectively tailor their anti-racist strategies to address both local and global dimensions of racism. Busis contextualizes local experience of racism within a global framework, emphasizing the systematic racism in San Francisco are influenced by international policies and historical context. Examples such as colorism, global migration patterns, and economic disparities. For instance, differences in immigration status and labor exploitation policies can contribute to racial inequalities in urban spaces. Bustos also states that immigration reminds us that good news about laws compliance is not necessarily good news about human rights. This statement highlights the complexities of addressing racism, which legal measures may exist to promote equality, but they do not translate into equitable treatment in practice. In light of these systematic issues, local initiatives have emerged to confront and acknowledge the historical injustices faced by marginalized communities. Recently, San Francisco's Board of Supervisors formally apologized to African Americans and their descendants for the city's role in perpetrating racism and discrimination. This apology serves as one of the significant steps towards recognizing the impact of decades of racist policies and the need for reparative actions. Moreover, awareness campaigns, town hall meetings, and educational forums within San Francisco aim to engage residents in discussions about these complexities. By creating a platform for dialogue, Bustos' framework helps contextualize local experiences of racism, encouraging individuals to comprehend and leverage the news and resources available to them. Now, last but not least, a call to action is essential for individuals and communities to confront systematic racism and work towards social equity in San Francisco and beyond. Effectively confronting and dismantling systematic racism in San Francisco requires a unified call to action at both individual and community levels. Recognizing the challenges posed by systematic racism is only the beginning. Actionable steps must be taken to dismantle oppressive structures that perpetrate inequality. Grassroots movements and community engagement are vital as they empower residents to organize, educate, and advocate for policy reform tailored to San Francisco's unique landscape. Open dialogues about race and discrimination are essential, revealing the complex realities many residents face and fostering shared responsibility. Visual evidence from community activism can inspire others and demonstrate the potential for meaningful change, emphasizing that united efforts can create a more equitable environment for all. Organizations as the OCEIA and La Raza Central Legal play critical roles in providing legal assistance, advocacy, and resources to help residents navigate the systematic racism. Their initiatives empower individuals to protect their rights and secure brighter futures, while community education fosters a culture of equity and inclusion. Despite the ongoing impact of systematic racism on immigrant communities, significant strides are being made through those organizations' efforts. By equipping immigrants with the tools to navigate legal systems and amplify their voices, they inspire collective action and solidarity amongst diverse groups. Their fight for justice not only promotes individual empowerment, but also motivates the community towards systematic change, cultivating hope and resilience. Ultimately, meaningful change is achievable when we unite towards a common goal of bettering our communities for present and future generations.